Like, there's nothing silencing that. And even if it's a second Hunter's Mark, there's still a bunch of Void Walkers that are buying you that extra time. And yeah, obviously, Lawmaster Eve had to have exactly lethal hand with the 2 kill commands, but she did have it. And all it needed was the second kill command, and there was even the room to have tracking to find it if she needed.
Well, it also had to pull out a minion from the Wandering Monster with exactly 3 power that also didn't, or 3 or more power that didn't die to the lackey, right?
Absolutely. And of course, when you lead with the Spellbreaker and then attack with the Lackey, you don't know what you're getting out of the Wandering Monster. She led with the Lackey. I'm not sure why you... Sorry, she led with the Spellbreaker. I don't know why you would lead with the Spellbreaker. I think you just attack with the Lackey and find out what that secret is. If it's a freezing trap, it's back to your hand. It's a shame. Then you can land that Void Lord and hope that it holds enough ground for you. But I feel like Ziggy probably felt halfway through that turn, oh no, there's a chance. There's a chance she's got me here.
Yeah. It was a crazy last turn there for Eve. But anyway, going into the next game now, we have, looks like a minion-based hunter versus a bunch of 1-drops in rogue. Oh, that's right. This is odd rogue, so pretty, I'm guessing it's a fairly standard list. I mean, one of the big things about odd rogue is having that 1-drop on turn 1 so that you can kind of snowball the game, but ooh, there's a Keleseth from Ziggy.
Yeah. So the thing with odd rogue is you want a 1-drop on 1, but you don't want too many more of them. You want to be hitting some good 3-drops and then some good 5-drops and things like that as well. Now the dagger is going to do a lot of work in this matchup, but at a cost. Like, face tanking those minions is going to allow that hunter hero power to be a liability if you're not careful. And the fact that Lawmaster Eve doesn't have a lot of beef to follow with on the board could be a problem for her, because Ziggy Sarah's board is going to get big, because it is a big hunter list.
Yeah, and especially with like a card like Stitch Tracker, the problem is that it's doesn't line up super well against the hero power there from Eve. So
no. The first few turns for Ziggy aren't going to be great. She's dropping minions with only 2 health. The hero power is going to take them down. But what Ziggy does have is a Houndmaster on turn 4, and that is a large and sizable minion that is going to be difficult for Lawmaster Eve to take off the table, and it'll allow her to do a lot of trading. The 2 Ironbeak Owls that Eve has, I think one of them has to be silencing that Houndmaster, sure.
Yep, I don't think you can let Ziggy dictate all the trades for essentially the rest of the game as long as she's playing creatures every turn. But
yeah. If your way of dealing with Houndmaster Shore is to deal with the damage to it, like 6 health is a lot.
Some interesting cards here from Ziggy. What do you think is the pick here? I was thinking this was a Stonehill Defender for a second there, but this is
those are all in
Tracker.
The deck. Yeah. So I like the Lone Champion pick because you know that the Stitch Tracker is likely to come off the board in Eve's turn, and those other taunt minions are just really expensive and hard to actually ensure you'll get on the board before a rogue can finish you off. Like, this is how Eve wins this game, is by going face a lot. And I really like Eve's play of freezing that Stitch Tracker there, because it shuts down that Lone Champion.
But the flanking strike draw is pretty clutch there.
That was very good, yes.
So let's see. So looks like SI7 agent gonna come down, and I expect one of these to get cold-blooded up and start getting in for damage. You see the Keleseth, you see the Stitch Tracker. This tells me that it's probably going to be more of a late game Hunter deck, so ends up going with some trades.
Yeah, I think you can get more damage out of that Cold Blood if you can get multiple turns hitting face with it, whereas if you go face with one of those minions with a Cold Blood now, that SI7 agent definitely trades for it. Now, we know that this sets up the Lone Champion, which is a bit of a shame, but I think Eve is just thinking...
Oh, I think I lost you there. Okay, yeah, you just came back in at the last second there. But anyway, Lone Champion gonna come down, couple Flame Elementals to hopefully contest some of this board. Looks like kind of a rough situation here for Loremaster Eve, if I'm being honest. But Ironbeak Owl gonna come down, Hero Power coming out, and I think it's about time to start going face. Oh, looks like I lost Blister Guy for a second here.
Well, yeah, but you found me because
Oh.
now you're clear. You were a robot for a while, but now you're in mint condition and clear, and it's wonderful.
Oh, interesting. My OBS Studio, I guess, disconnected and is now reconnecting.
Well, that's worse though, because missing me is, it's regrettable, but losing the stream itself would be a problem.
Oh yeah.
So I
Yeah.
like Eve's play of getting the Iron Beak Owl down there to push some more damage and to get some good trades. But this is not great for Eve. She's got to get some bigger minions. Like, you want to be drawing things like Cobalt Scalebane and well, even Vastbind Slayer, just to be pushing damage, and she's just getting all of her small minions instead, which is allowing Ziggy to stay on the board and stay alive.
Yep, and Drew patches. Baku the Moon Eater.
Yeah.
Effectively
Well, I mean,
patches.
It's not as bad as it sounds,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because it doesn't turn off your other pirates the way drawing patches did, and it does give her some late game beef if she wanted it. But the downside is that Ziggy's late game is just way better than Eve's late game at this point.
Okay, so Silver Vanguard coming out. I actually wonder if Ziggy has any more 8-drops left in her deck. Let me
Oh,
check
she
this
certainly
out
does.
here.
She'll have at least probably one more Devil Sword, and we know that she has a Lich King as well.
Yeah, let's see. I guess so. Everything is lagging
Now, I
a whole
talked
ton.
earlier of
I think we're hopefully okay, but either way. So what are we looking at in this game? What is Lore Master Eve's plan from here? She used her second silence. She is ahead on board, but I'm kind of wondering what's gonna happen from here. How she's gonna take care of this board state. I think I lost Blister Guy again because I believe my internet is just not really handling what is happening right now. Wonder if there's a way for me to fix this, because I've completely lost Blister Guy. I'm watching the stream. Maybe I just need to turn off the stream. Maybe the stream is too much. But
I wonder.
yeah, I've completely lost Blister Guy, but this Witchwood Grizzly is really getting in the way here of Eve being able to push some damage. Let's see, she can get out a Cold Blood this turn, gets her up to 6, 7, 8, and then the SI7 agent can push so she can push a little bit of damage this turn. But overall, just not in a great spot. Let's see. I'm going to try to get back Blister Guy here. See if I can get him back here. Gets through, bit of damage, down to 18, but second Witchwood Grizzly off the top, that seems like it's going to likely lock out the game. You know that Eve doesn't have any more silence effects because she used both of the owls earlier. So now you just have a gigantic 4/12 against a couple of 3/3s. Not looking super good. Blister Guy, do I almost have you back yet, or am I just completely completely alone here? Let's see. Okay, so this looks like a good turn to be able to Houndmaster Shaw. So you could either Houndmaster Shaw. Actually, we could Charged Devilsaur here. It's an 8/8, takes out the Baku the Moon Eater cleanly. I think that's probably what you want to do. I believe it's going to be better than Flanking Strike, but I guess she's going to go for Flanking Strike so that she can run that minion in there, push some damage face, and ideally set this up for... actually, she just has lethal set up for next turn. Let's see... Eve can play a 1-drop and a Cold Blood, which doesn't even get over this Grizzly. And attacking here, Means the hero power is just going to be lethal, and we're going to be going to a game 3. Let's see. Oh, Katharina pulls out Charged Devilsaur for the fun lethal. Oh, could have attacked face there. Either way, I'm going to take a sec here and see if I can get Blister Guy back in this call. Let's see. So that is Ziggy. Let's see. Ziggy gets the win with the Hunter. And let's see if I can get... see if I can figure out how to get Blister back in the call. Good old internet. I don't know. It's got to be a problem partially with my computer and the internet connection, and obviously Blister Guy being halfway across the world probably doesn't help things either. Let's see if I can find him. Hopefully he's on here somewhere. Anyway, let's see. Let me just switch to this. As you can see, Blister Guy is just a little swirling mess here. Okay, I need to bring up this. Sorry about this, guys. Having a bit of a hiccup here. Just trying to get connected so I'm not all by myself here. Try calling him here, see if this works. Might not be able to see him. Oh, call ended. All right, I'm gonna mute here for a sec. We're gonna go to this screen real quick.
I can hear you. I straight up unplugged it, and where do I turn off my video? There, video is turned off. Yeah, I don't know what the lag was because like I was still seeing Hearthstone perfectly. I could load other things, but Discord was just no longer cooperating.
All right, so I'm telling him to go again. We're back.
So I missed the end of the game, but I assume Ziggy won with giant beasts.
Yeah, she ended up drawing another one of the Witchwood Grizzlies, and Eve only had one card in hand, so that kind of locked up the game since both owls were gone.
Yeah, gone. Yeah, it was the real problem there was that Eve had too many 1-drops in her hand at the start, which is a bit of a shame. It's something that's not that obvious with Odd Rogue, and I've heard more experienced players say it, is you only keep 1-drop in your opening hand because you want some 3-drops in your opening hand as well.
Yep, and yeah, I mean, it just seemed like Eve kind of ran out of gas. As you said, just a few too many 1-drops. So going into the next game here, it looks like Ziggy's got her last deck she's got to win with, which is the Q block, and Eve's got to win with 2 more decks. The first one looks like she's going to bring out Odd Rogue again.
Yeah.
And what do you think of this matchup here?
Well, it's not really great for Odd Rogue or Rush Warrior, but at least it's better for Odd Rogue. And Eve making the concession there, knowing that she has to win this faster rather than slower, and has kept Leroy in her opening hand. I think if either deck has a chance of beating the Q block, it's the Odd Rogue. But Eve's gonna have to win twice in a row with, including with her Rush Warrior, so it's not a great position for her to be in.
Yep, and already getting a Spellstone upgraded is actually really huge, because one of the ways that you can lose as the Warlock against an Odd Rogue is to have something like a Hench Clan Thug get out of hand early.
Exactly. Like, if you can get your minions higher than 3 health to get around Hellfire, then you have a chance at rushing them down, provided they don't lackey out a Void Lord. So, like, there's a lot of ifs there, You've got to make sure you've got minions that survive a Hellfire. You've got to make sure that your Q-block opponent doesn't just lackey out a Void Lord. But if you can avoid that, then Hench Clan Thug is obviously really good. But, as you say, an upgraded Spellstone, that Hench Clan Thug it's not got long for this world.
Right, and we already see the Dark Pact in Ziggy's hand with a Lackey in there as well. The Hench Clan Thug is going to come out on a perfect turn, actually, because now Ziggy's going to have to be worried about playing like a giant, as she might want to do this next turn. And is end up going to use the coin here to push some damage. So now Ziggy doesn't have to worry about something like a coin Vile Spine next turn if she ended up wanting to go with the giant play this turn.
Yeah, I like this play from Lordmaster Eve. Like, again, it's the concession. She's only got a limited amount of time to close out this game, so she wants to win it before Ziggy can get set up with the Lackey into Void Lord. Now, Ziggy playing full Q block instead of Control Warlock means that the Lackey could find a Doomguard instead, which does do a pretty good job of taking out the rest of the minions on the board, but doesn't stop that dagger going face.
Right, and what are you thinking about this turn now? You have the option of Mole, SI7 Agent. What did you think about? Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I immediately was thinking exactly what Eve just did there. The SI7 Agent is very valuable face damage that gets past a Void Lord, so you don't really need to play it this turn. That Cold Blood does never get past a Void Lord. So what she's done here is just made sure that she gets that 4 damage from the Cold Blood past the Void Lord. That's not even there yet. And like, she will probably jam Leroy Jenkins next turn. And if Ziggy doesn't do anything about this board, that Leroy Jenkins is lethal. In fact, if she Hellfires this, then Leroy Jenkins is lethal. So Ziggy has to be defiling this board, or playing the Dark Pact. Right. And like that will work for her. But what Ziggy's thinking is, I need to get this damage on the board now, and any damage that can go over the top of a taunt, that can come later, and that includes the SI7 Agent.
Yep. So now what does Loremaster Eve need to get through this? Cobalt Apprentice doesn't look like the card she was necessarily looking for.
No, but if 2 of those shots hit the Tar Creeper, it's better than nothing.
Right, okay. So you can do this. Oh, and all 3 face.
Well, that's actually the other opportunity that you're actually not so upset about, because you just dagger in to that Tar Creeper now, and of course trade in the wounded Dire Mole, redagger. Next turn, the rest of your dagger finishes off the Tar Creeper, and Leroy can get in to maybe finish the job, because I suspect the Tar Creeper doesn't trade with the Kobold Apprentice. That said, we know that Ziggy is about to Dark Pact away a Lackey, so that's not as good for Eve. But like Eve has to go with the plan of she doesn't have it, and this is the way I win. And I like how Eve has played this game, even if it doesn't look like it's working out that way. Yeah. I mean, we said that about her Hunter game earlier, right? This doesn't look like it's going the way Eve wants it to. She's playing it well. She's just got to hope that Ziggy doesn't have it. And then Ziggy made a turn where she's like, maybe I don't need to play the Void Lord this turn, and it cost her. So you never know. Ziggy might do that again. But then maybe Ziggy is also feeling a little burnt after that happened with her Q block the first time, and is going to correctly play around it.
Okay, going with a Giant and Dark Pact on the Tar Creeper. What do you think about this play?
Well, that's interesting. I like it because it puts a Giant on the board, which is obviously a huge thing to have to deal with. I think I would have Dark Pacted the Lackey anyway, because even if you don't get a Void Lord, just going up 8 health is probably enough. But I do like the idea that Ziggy's like, well, I can't live forever. There will be Ironbeak Owls silencing my Void Lord, so I can't exactly depend on them. So a Mountain Giant it's a lot of damage either going to Loremaster Eve's face or just cleaning up anything and everything that's potentially on the board here.
Right. And so Ziggy's gonna go down to 12 life, facing down a bit of damage on board. I think this Mountain Giant's gonna have to either do some trading or she's gonna be looking at this Hellfire, I think.
I mean, you don't want to be in a position to Hellfire here, because you just go face with Leroy and Dagger and just put Ziggy Sarah to 1. Yeah. I mean, it's not ideal. You just hope that she doesn't have any more life gain. We've already seen one Spellstone. We've already seen one Dark Pact. We can see a second Spellstone, which is obviously good for Ziggy Sarah, but like, this is not the kind of position Ziggy Sarah wants to be in. And Loremaster Eve is doing exactly what she needs to do, which is pushing as much damage on the board now as she can. Yeah.
And I wonder if she was thinking something about the Possessed Lackey, if it would have gotten something like a Doomguard instead of a Void Lord there, and maybe then Loremaster Eve was going to even be able to push even more damage there.
Yeah, I think that's what she was worried about. And I think the fact that Dark Pact would have kept you afloat was probably something better to worry about. And what we see here is 2 off lethal, right?
Right.
Because Loremaster Eve can just attack for 10 now with Leroy, the Apprentice, and Dagger, putting Ziggy Sarah to 2. So if Ziggy Sarah doesn't heal on her turn, then the SI7 agent just finishes her off.
Yeah, excellent recognition here, actually.
Yeah, I think so too. And this is one of those plays that a lot of players would be too scared to make, because like you can't attack with Leroy and then let them trade the whelps for it. It's like, why not? Look at this. Like, Ziggy has to have healing. Now we know Ziggy does have healing, so it's probably unfortunate for Eve. But outcomes aside, I think Eve played this perfectly.
Yeah, and she still has outs, right? Like, she could, even if the Spellstone comes out this turn, which we kind of both are expecting it to, I believe there's, like, the second Kobold Apprentice could potentially...
Well, I mean, it's yeah, exactly. It's 5 damage that has to go face. It is a bit of a tall ask. But there is every possibility.
Have reverse lethal? Does Ziggy have reverse lethal by copying the Leroy? It's 16.
I think she does. 24? That's pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool. That's excellent.
Yeah, I think she's like triple checking her math right now.
I mean, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you?
Oh yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, so a nice spotting from Ziggy there.
Really
and this is what that Mountain Giant play enabled. Mountain Giant Dark Pacting the Tar Creeper seemed a little risky, but it meant that Ziggy would be able to close out this game sooner rather than later, as opposed to relying on things like the Void Lord, which you wouldn't necessarily be able to do. Like, I think you'd be more comfortable trying to rely on Doomguard and having your Spellstones and Dark Pacts keep you alive if you knew you were going to be playing Gul'dan soon. She doesn't have Gul'dan in hand, so she's like, I can't rely on that. I'm going to have to let these Giants finish the game off before we get into too much trouble.
Right, and so that's going to do it. That's going to be a win there for Ziggy. And let's see, just doing this real quick. Got to get my winner overlay prepped. Stars
look.
And
Ziggy won there, and I reckon that was fantastic spotting of the lethal in that last turn. I think gambling on that Mountain Giant paid off really well. That was some great foresight from Ziggy, thinking many turns ahead. But no discredit to Eve. I think Eve played this series exceptionally well. But I think the fact that Ziggy had a Q block in her lineup, a more board-centric Hunter, I think that just put Eve
unfavored as far as the lineups go, and it worked out well for Ziggy. Like having to bring a warrior deck in this metagame it's not really something you want to be doing in a hurry. And when you're having to resort to Rush Warrior, it's not great, especially basically if your opponent is bringing a Warlock. And I think Eve acquitted herself exceptionally well in that match, even though it didn't turn out her way. And it's really hard when you're up against a player with the caliber of Ziggy who can play it very well and can make those plays, the risky plays like running out that Mountain Giant and then facelessing it the following turn, just getting some real face damage back while staying alive with the Spellstone and the Dark Pacts. Great players all the way around. It was fantastic to watch.
Yep, definitely. And I'm so glad you were able to join me today. I'm wondering, because it's going to be hard, I want to do a winner's interview, well, just an interview with both of them. But I don't know, I don't think you will be able to hear anything unless you're in Discord as well.
Yeah, and my Discord is playing up. Look, I'm happy. I know what you're saying. Can you sit out of the interview? I want to talk to these fantastic Hearthstone players myself. And he can do it all myself. And look, I understand. With our technical issues, that's completely right. Like, thank you for giving me the opportunity to come out and hang out. I had a ball, and I really enjoyed watching that match. Congratulate both players for me.
I will.
No doubt I'll send them some messages. And thanks to everyone. Yeah,
before you go, let everybody know where they can find you if for some reason people listening don't know where
I believe it's I believe it's Forsyth Park in North Sydney right now. You mean on the internet, right?
Yes.
At Blister Guy on Twitter is the best place to follow me. I have a podcast as well, Walk to Work HS. But if you listen to Coin Conceit or any of the other major podcasts, you probably also listen to my podcast already. So if you don't, check it out. And if you like it, hang around. I stream occasionally at twitch.tv/BlisterGuy as well. Most importantly, I love you all.
Thanks again, Blister Guy. Really appreciate it. I really hope that I'm able to do some more casting with you again and maybe even have a little bit less technical difficulties than we were having today.
Well, part of the problem with this was that I, for the second time this week, which is very unusual, miscalculated with time zones. And I just messaged you 20 minutes beforehand and said, we're on in 20 minutes, aren't we? Not an hour and 20 minutes. So it didn't really give us a lot of time to technically test things out. And this is the first time I tried to use Discord. And for some reason, it just did something in the bed that's going to involve changing the sheets, and it wasn't great.
Oh, rough.
Yeah, it's not good. Late night out for the Discord, we can't abide. So thank you again, everyone, for the opportunity. Hopefully I'll get a chance to come back, time zones permitting.
Yeah, that'd be great. All right, thanks again, Blister Guy. I'm going to let you go.
Take care. Cheers, bot.
Hello?
Hello, Eve. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so I'm waiting to see if Ziggy responds. See if I can get her in here as well. But condolences. What were you kind of thinking going into that match there with Ziggy?
The entire thing, or that specific Warlock versus Rogue?
Let's go Warlock versus Rogue there towards the end, because I saw you setting up for lethal there. It was a really good spot to try to get there in case Ziggy had no healing, but of course got reverse lethaled.
I did kind of consider removing the whelps, but I was just kind of pot committed at that point and just was like, I just want to go all face, but probably would have been a good idea to remove the whelps. I did not see a faceless manipulator into Leroy Jenkins coming though, so not sure if that's something you can plan for.
No, not really. So this week, or what were you thinking necessarily with your lineup? Did you plan to have these specific classes for Ziggy, or just like, is this kind of the way your classes lined up for this week, or how did you kind of select your classes?
Ziggy and I were talking about it right before we got into the game, and neither of us checked each other's lineup at all. So she was like, "What are you playing?" And I was like, "Yeah, I just checked the website 2 seconds ago to find out what you were playing." So, yeah, we just kind of, I think, both grabbed fun decks that we wanted to play and were comfortable with, and did not consider the lineup at all. And yeah, I felt like I had an okay chance against Warlock with my Hunter. But I knew the other two were not going to be favored Like Warrior was going to have a tough time when it came down to it. But you have to win with all of your classes, so I was going to have to do it at one point or another if I was going to win. Yeah, so with the Rogue, I just thought that I would just be as aggressive as possible because that's the only chance I had. It was like killer before turn 6. And yeah, didn't work out.
Unfortunately. So I'm just trying to get Ziggy in here in the Discord call. I actually might need to, because I need her to add me as a friend in order to add her to. Okay, there we go. Got her there. All right. Created the group. Hopefully I still have you, Eve.
Yep, I'm here.
All right, perfect. And then
Hi.
Ziggy. Hey,
Yeah.
Ziggy.
What's up, guys?
Congrats on the win. I'm sorry I can't get Blister Guy in here. We were having a whole load of issues. The first game, I just completely forgot to actually switch over to the game, so it was just me and Blister Guy's faces as we're talking about the game as it was going.
Who needs to see it?
So everybody got a nice little kind of
Play-by-play?
Yeah,
Blister Guy's really good at that.
He
like,
is
that's
really
kind of his
good.
forte.
People were actually saying
Good at
that
that.
it was actually actually still listenable, but we got it for the other games. Ziggy, congratulations on the win. What were you kind of thinking going into this match here?
Did not prepare at all. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a weird week, and I went with actually the same decks that I think I brought for week 1. I was like, well, this is, I think I did a couple practice games with each, but that's all. So I don't know. I just went for it, and I find Eve quite daunting, to be honest, because she's a really good player. So I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Well, I mean, both of you have quite the pedigree when it comes to Hearthstone. I know you Ziggy have won a couple of your 1600 Dust Opens, if I'm not mistaken, and then of course Eve had an amazing run in Wild Legend. Just was it a month or two ago? So both of you are just very accomplished players. So this was definitely a matchup I was really excited to cast.
Yeah,
I
I've
was
watched Ziggy's
excited.
games before, and yeah, same thing. Pretty intimidating for me just to see the kind of lines of play that she's able to pull out of, things that I haven't seen before. And Faceless Manipulator into Leroy Lethal, that's pretty impressive.
Not kidding. I didn't know if it was possible. My brain totally blanked, and I was like, wait, can I do this? And I think you could probably tell, I just kept looking. I was like, wait, is this going to work? And I thought to myself, if this does not work right now, and for some reason I can't copy him with charge or whatever, I'm literally just going to tap and kill myself.
Yeah, that was a great spot. I thought you were like triple counting the damage. You're like, is this 24? This is like 8.
Well,
Yeah.
I was just, I was counting it, and I was going, I thought, okay, this is going to work. And then for some reason, my brain loves to overthink that kind of thing. And I was like, what if I make a fool of myself right now and this doesn't work? It's been a while. It's been a while since I forgot that Faceless and Leroy can be a thing. I mean, that's old school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So-
that's Rogue. That's Miracle Rogue, old school.
And
That's how they used to kill you on their side of the board.
that also used to be in Warlock too, right? There was like a combo Warlock when Power Overwhelming was still a thing. And Thorison down so that you could Leroy double Power Overwhelming Faceless.
Yeah,
But
Yep.
it's pretty sick stuff.
yeah, pretty awesome. Really a fun set to watch. What kind of was your takeaway from this, Laura or Eve?
I just really wanted to have fun. I've been watching all the rest of the games people have been playing and just bringing crazy decks on purpose and giving themselves like rules to follow, like only bringing classic and original cards and things like that. And I thought I need to have a bit more fun with this and not be so, competitive. And so that's why I brought Spell Hunter, because that's one of my fun decks to have fun with. But I didn't get to
I
see
love
Rock
that, by the
Delar.
way.
I'm
I
sad
did love
Rock
that you
Delar
brought
didn't
that.
come.
I know. I was actually kind of rooting for that because I just don't get to see it happen. So I was really excited when I realized what you were playing, and I was also totally thrown off. I was like, oh, this was not something that even occurred to me as a possibility.
Oh
So I
yeah,
love
that lethal that you had in the end was pretty spectacular. It was a lot of damage real fast. The Spell Hunter can really put out a lot of damage sometimes.
Yeah, not quite as much as 2 fireballs to the face, but yeah, 2 5 damage shots can do the job in the end.
Speaking of
It's
cool,
like a little squeal at that point because I was like, oh wow, okay, yeah, that's a thing. Okay.
speaking of cool hunter decks, I wanted to ask you, Ziggy, how much have you played that Beast Hunter? Because it looked like a heck of a lot of fun.
It is the only thing in Hearthstone right now that I feel like is completely worth living for. I absolutely adore it. I can't stop. Like every time I log in and I'm actually going to play some games for fun, that is the deck I've been playing. And for the record, my win rate with it still, even though it's the only thing I've played on ladder this month, is still like 74% or something. It's crazy. It's so fun.
It looks like a lot of
But
fun.
still.
I imagine a lot of it is the surprise of your opponent going, "What is this? What is happening here? What is going on?"
I think so. I think you're absolutely right because people are playing really well against it, and I just never even get nervous with it. That's the thing. Is like I throw so much with that deck that I'm just like, oh, okay, you can silence that. That's fine. I've got another death rattle right there. Like it's nuts. It's totally nuts.
Well, awesome. Do either of you have any closing thoughts for this match?
Good game.
Well played. Thank you so much. I'm really sorry if that well played seemed like
No,
bad
you know
manners
what?
for you, by the way.
I took it in the spirit in which I think it was met, which was genuine. So that, yeah.
Totally. And then I thought about it. Well, obviously, I did not expect to be copying Leroy. That did not even occur to me when I said that was awesome. I just really I thought you had it. So, yeah, well played. Thank you so much for an amazing match. Those games were a blast.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot too.
So Ziggy, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you, let everybody know whether they can see your awesome tweets and the podcast that you're on.
Okay, well, I'm on Twitter at Ziggy Sarah. I'm also on Twitch at also at Ziggy Sarah. I don't know why I paused there. And I do have a YouTube now.
Oh, awesome.
This
Go
is
ahead.
very predictable. And then you can find me on 1600 Dust, 1600dust.com.
Awesome.
What's the YouTube channel?
Yeah.
So far, I've released one video saying that I'm going to be releasing more videos. So that's as far as that's gotten. But I'm I'm going to be releasing videos featuring community and then expanding from there to other gaming communities.
But how can I search and find you?
Oh, well, I thought you could look and find it under Ziggy Sarah, but I might be wrong because I did set it up quite hastily.
I honestly tried to find you the other day and I couldn't. So this is why I'm asking.
Well, I know for sure that if you go to my Twitter page, that my video is my pinned tweet. And if you go to that, it will obviously take you right to the channel and then you can subscribe there.
Okay, awesome. I'll do that then.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying because there might be other people looking and I'm just being an idiot and they can't find me.
It's all good.
And Eve, why don't you go ahead and plug all your stuff as well?
I'm at Lore Master Eve on Twitter. I stream from Valen's Chosen podcast on Twitch. And yeah, we do have the Valen's Chosen podcast.
Yeah, make sure you check that out. Your lore segments are amazing. I love every time one of those comes out. I always make sure I get a chance to listen to it. And
thank you.
Yeah, so I am, of course, Bodicus. Oh, by the way, Blister Guy congratulates both of you on a well-played match. Yeah, I'm part of the Coin Concede podcast. We record live on Wednesday nights. Should have the podcast up tomorrow morning at some point. That's just coinconcede.com. And yeah, make sure if you guys feel like you're getting value out of this, make sure you check out the Patreon for United Hearthstone League. It's patreon.com/UnitedHearthstoneLeague. Ferris has put in so much work into this, and as I was saying earlier, just really is developing kind of a great thing here. And I really, really want to do a huge shout out to Zeroshio for being the patron of this awesome thing we have going. Sorry, I completely spaced on that earlier, but thank you so much everyone for watching. Sorry for all the technical difficulties, and hopefully with a bit more time I can get this all worked out. And thank both of you for coming on and doing this interview.
And thank you. Tell Blister Guy. I will tell him also. But thank you, thank you to both of you for casting. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go back and watch the VODs.
Great. Well, hopefully you can understand what's going on in the first game, because
I actually recorded it on my end in OBS, so
Okay.
if you want that for UHL, just let me know.
yeah, I might